Today, I'm finally breaking my silence on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I've been following the market since 2012, and I live in Canada, so I wasn't able to get any. I tried mining, but it didn't work out, and then as I was mining, I don't even know how to get it off my computer, right? So, anyways, at that point in time, it was really frustrating, and of course, there was all these advertisement and things like that required me clicking. So I knew Bitcoin for quite a long time, and I do have crypto investments, right? I want to call it crypto investments, and I do put it onto a USB, and I think I lost that USB, but anyways, it's somewhere. I don't know. But it isn't a lot. It was like probably a couple $100. But why I'm telling you this is so that you know that I'm not exactly somebody that just figured out Bitcoin in 2017 or 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or 2023. You see, all of my friends came asking me about Bitcoin in 2017 because I've been talking about Bitcoin since 2012. Now, you see, Bitcoin at the time, and I'm just going to say this, is a very captivating story, right? Because if you were into inflation, economics, gold, and those things, you'll understand that Bitcoin was pretty much like the evolution of gold, to sort of speak, right? Because gold, essentially, it has all of these properties that allow it to hold value, right? But one of the properties that it doesn't have, right, is being in the digital space. And that's what made Bitcoin very captivating. Also, because you know how gold is sort of manipulated, right? People that just started studying don't really know what is happening, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it, right? But, you know, those that study it a lot know that there's two different type of gold. And you're thinking, how can there be two different type of gold, right? So there's a physical product, and then there's a paper product, right? The paper product don't really exist, right? But they could sell you it so you could, buy it and then exchange for it, right? And at that point in time, Bitcoin was like, well, all of the coins are checked and everything, so you verify it's real, right? Everybody, and it's limited in supply and all that other good stuff. And I also want to mention one of the bad things about buying physical gold or silver is you don't know if you're buying something that is real. How do you know, right? Nobody knows, right? Unless you have like some sort of a, what do you call that thing? It's some sort of gun, right? I think it's the spectral thermometer or something. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. Honestly, basically it analyzes all the properties of the metal. All right, that's basically what it does. I don't know the name. Don't ask me. Even the Sigma verifier isn't guaranteed, right? And that is the newest technology and the latest technology. So buying gold has its risks, especially if you're putting so much money in. And in 2012, it was like, well, Bitcoin, you don't need like some sort of $40,000 machine to analyze the property of this metal to ensure that it is indeed genuine. Because how many people will have $50,000 or 40? I don't know how much it is. I think it's around 80,000, but I could be completely wrong. The cheapest one is probably like around 40,000. The most expensive one is probably 100K. I don't know, for the machine, right? To analyze the thing. Not a lot of people are going to spend that much money to get one of those stupid machines to analyze gold or silver to make sure what they're buying is real. So Bitcoin was very attractive, right? People that knew it in 2011, 2012, and all the way up to 2016, it was a very captivating thing. And prices, of course, have been going up during that time as well. I remember when I first known about it, it was $20, right? And I did try to get my friends to get it, but I don't live in the U.S. Unfortunately, it was pretty much only purchasable in the U.S. And at the time, it was very shady. That's what my friend said, right? It was like, I'm not doing that, right? Basically, what happened was like, you need to go to Walmart. Those that are old enough and have been in the space long enough know that, you need to go to Walmart and then get the Second Life currency, and Second Life being a video game, right? There's online video games where people that don't like their life, have a second life online, right? So basically, and it's really mimicking a real life. You can like do adult things on the game and stuff like that. But anyways, at the time, my friend was like, "I'm not doing this." So basically, he didn't do it. But obviously, after that, in 2017, he was like shocked and he was pretty much upset. But anywho, so up until 2017, it had been a very attractive investment, especially for those that have a brain, right? I mean, if you have a brain and you understand economics, if you understand inflation, you understand money printing, and when I say inflation, I mean the old definition of inflation. So it was a very attractive vehicle, and those that had access to it was like, you know what? I'm just gonna throw some money in here because if they're buying gold, they might as well just buy $100 or $50 or $20 Bitcoin, right? So, anyways, they probably threw some play money in there and got it. Now, once it hit 20K, that's when people are like, wow, this thing's crazy, right? And then as after the 20K, back then, right, there was only Bitcoin and Litecoin back in 2012. And it was a captivating story. And, it was only two things. So, you're like, oh, there is limited supply and stuff like that. Now, because the source is out there, there's thousands of coins, right? I mean, what I really want to talk about and why I'm talking about this is because I just watch it like Kitco, right? And what I really hate about Kitco nowadays, I mean, Kitco has been like one of those old things I've been following for many years. When Daniela was the host, and now I guess the David Lynn guy is the host. And, I've always felt that, hey, I could get a decent amount of information on what I call the inflation, the inflation atmosphere. I don't know. I mean, the inflation news, basically, right? So it was a good place to read and listen to Kitco talk about inflation, economics, and things like that. And usually they had Peter Schiff on, some of the other, Gerald Salente, Jim Rickards. And, years later now, right, I'm watching Kitco again. I'm like, wow, they really start pushing this stuff really hard, right? I mean, I've been watching all along, but I pretty much was like, I didn't want to watch the crypto ones anymore because they kept on pushing it. And it feels like they're being paid to push the cryptocurrencies, right? I mean, back then, it wasn't even crypto. I mean, crypto wasn't even a freaking word. I mean, it was like Bitcoin, right? And there was Litecoin. If you went to Pirates Bay, they would give you the Litecoin and Bitcoin address. So it was literally just two coins. And, being two coins, you'd think, hey, there's only two coins in this world. But now, there's like thousands of coins. And there's new projects coming on every day. And the latest article, or not article, the latest video that they started interviewing this guy, right? And I think it's like Wai Zhao or something. And, I'm pretty sure we are probably the similar, like me, him, and David Lynn are pretty much in the similar age of being millennials. I feel like, honestly, they don't really know what they're talking about. The thing is, cryptocurrencies have expanded so quickly. Everybody's jumping in, and everybody suddenly becomes an expert because it's going up, right? I mean, it doesn't have to have any fundamental information or anything important. As long as it was going up, and they did a lot of interviews with these people. It's like all you gotta say is going up, right? Because the entire industry is going up. So all you gotta say is going up and all this positive thing, and that's about it, right? It doesn't have to make sense at all. And right now, I'm making this video to say that Kitco don't make sense. At least the cryptocurrency side. First of all, I want to say that a lot of people are getting it, which is good because obviously back in 2017 to 2022, people have been crazy about it, right? And basically thinking, hey, this is the next newest thing. It's not freaking new. If I've known it for 10 years, right, it is not new, right? I mean, obviously, clearly, it is not new. And they're still talking about adoption. That's the funny thing. And now they're talking about crypto adoption instead of Bitcoin adoption because it used to be about Bitcoin, right? It was all about Bitcoin. Now that they have so many cryptocurrencies, unlike when I known about it, they have like thousands of cryptocurrency, right? And they all can be pretty much the same. The only difference is their name. Now think about it, right? I mean, you're buying toilet paper, all right? And it's from the same manufacturer. There's 1,000 different toilet papers. And they're all priced differently. And they have a different name. But the toilet paper is still a toilet paper, right? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, toilet paper, it's the same manufacturer. It has like similar properties. It's still all the same. And obviously the toilet paper can be enhanced. But, you know, it's still a toilet paper. You just change the name. And that's what bothers me. Because when they're talking about crypto adoption, what are they talking about? You see, back in the day, Litecoin was the currency that was supposed to be used. Alright? Remember that. Litecoin was supposed to be silver. Bitcoin was supposed to be gold. And, you know, Bitcoin was supposed to be stored. Litecoin was supposed to be used. And Litecoin disappeared now. You know, Ethereum has taken over. So basically, anything can be basically practically removed with time over this past 10 years. And I'm looking at this. They're talking about, well, the latest video I saw is these countries are driving crypto adoptions, and they're talking about East Asia or Southeast Asia. First of all, adoption would mean wide usage, right, of the product. I mean, if you're adopting something, you're using the product, right? But they're not using the product. They're just buying the product. And the reason why they're buying the product is because they're thinking, hey, they could sell this product for much more expensive later on, right? But the thing is, they're not using the product. And the only product that will be used, all right, that will be adopted anywhere, I'm not even talking about Asia, is government crypto. I don't know what it's called, right? But essentially, only government crypto will be adopted. I mean, these people may be buying the cryptocurrencies, but they're not adopting it. They're just buying it because they're thinking they can use it later. Think about it, right? If you buy 1,000 PS4 yourself and you own the PS4, I guess they have PS5 now, my bad. I'm getting old, right? So, let's say they buy 1,000 PS5s, right? And then the sale volume is up, and you're the only one that owns the PS5, and you're never selling it, okay? And then people think, wow, there's 1,000 people that adopted the PS5. No, the PS5 was just bought, but no one's, you know, using the PS5. They just bought it to store it. So essentially, nobody is adopting any cryptocurrencies. They're only using it as a vehicle to potentially gain profits from, which is essentially speculation and gambling. All right? They're not adopting cryptocurrency. They're just buying it to actually just store it, hoping that it will go up. And that's what I've done, right? I have never been able to use a cryptocurrency to buy anything. They used to do these videos how, you know, they had some Bitcoin and they would go use it to buy things and stuff like that. Well, they're not doing those things anymore, right? They're not doing those videos anymore. And now they're just talking about it. And that's a funny thing. I mean, even Elon Musk was talking about using Dogecoin. And making merchandise and selling it in Dogecoin, right? No one's doing it. I mean, when they're doing it, and actually there's a lot of people buying the Dogecoin to use to buy stuff, then they're adopting it. So these guys really don't know what they're talking about. They're really confused, but they have a platform like Kitco, right? It is a reputable platform, and people somehow think it's correct. But honestly, crypto had been going up for 10 years, for a decade now. It's not new technology, especially with Bitcoin. I mean, when was the last time you used an iPhone from 2009? I mean, it doesn't even work anymore. There's always newer cryptocurrencies, unlike in 2009 where they only had Bitcoin and then they came out with Litecoin. Well, they have every other coin out there now. And in the next 10, 12 years, there's going to be triple or 10x the different type of cryptocurrency. Even though Bitcoin is limited in supply, there's a limited amount of Bitcoins out there. That's like saying, hey, you have toilet paper, right? It's limited in supply, but there's a unlimited amount of different toilet paper brands. Makes sense? I mean, obviously, yes, you may only have one toilet paper made from Kitco, right? The most limited of the supply, the Kitco toilet paper. But there's a limited amount of toilet paper out there that can be made by anybody. And do you really want or need a Kitco toilet paper? That is the only question. And for me, I've kind of grown up, and obviously you can make a lot of money trading cryptocurrencies because people don't buy it because it has value. People buy it because they see the value in cryptocurrency as a trade. Basically, the value is in getting other people to buy it, and then you sell it, and then you get the money from it. So that is the value. But in the past, it was different. You used to store those Bitcoin because you felt it has value because of the limited supply and all those things that make it good money. But now it's different. It's a totally different ball game. And all these guys that are pushing these cryptocurrencies, they're just thinking younger people should be dumber than them. That's all. I mean, because probably, all the things still make sense, like inflation, money printing, the debt and everything. It all still makes sense. The only thing that's changed is that there is unlimited amount of Bitcoin. I mean, I think they came out with Bitcoin 3.0. I mean, they had a 2.0. Now they have a 3.0. I'm like sitting there, what the hell is this? Right? I mean, it used to be just one or two coins. Right? It used to be Bitcoin was gold, Litecoin was silver. Now they have a million different coins. And if not a million, obviously there's thousands. And sooner or later, it will go to a million. And, why do you have to care about 1 in a million coin, right? It can be other coins. And so far, most of the coins are practically useless, except for the value, which I said. You make sure other people buy it, and then you sell it, and then you profit from it, and there's your value, because you made money from it, right? So, anyways, that's all I want to talk about. And I'm really disappointed. I've been disappointed in Kitco for a very long time, especially with Daniela. I don't even watch her anymore. I see her videos. I literally click the icon when it tells me see less. Because she has been a heavy pusher of Bitcoin because she's invested in Bitcoin. And assuming that Daniela is around my age, she probably is slightly older, she was just focus on lining her own pockets. And that's where the value is in crypto. You're able to get other people to buy it so that you could line your own pockets. And most of these people that are being interviewed, right, that are positive about crypto are mostly just thinking about themselves. And I don't know. I'm just like, that's why I stopped watching Kitco for a while, but I started watching Kitco again. I stopped watching Kitco during when Daniela was the host because she got very aggressive into pushing cryptocurrencies, right? I mean, if somebody said something negative, she was all over them. And I mean, right now, at least this David Lin guy is more objective, right? Even though uh, he doesn't really put his perspective into things like Daniela did. Daniela was like, she was basically going after them and trying to pressure them to say something positive. That's what I felt, anyways. And it feels like the other girl, the McCory, whatever her name is, she did some of that too, especially during Peter Schiff's and the Celsius guys video, right? And look how that turned out. Obviously, it seems like she was just shilling for him, and then now he went bankrupt, or his company went bankrupt, and people's money were stolen, right? So, anyways, that's all I just want to talk about my past decade watching Kitco and, of course, the cryptocurrency market. I don't regret not filling up with Bitcoin or anything because life is very interesting. Sometimes something is meant for you, right? It's your destiny. It's like YouTube. I mean, YouTube found me. I didn't find YouTube, right? I mean, when I was getting millions of views, it was an interesting experience. But nowadays, I want to be more, I don't know, I just want to do things where I can be myself instead of just playing video games and stuff like that. So that's why I'm making this video. And of course, why I started changing this channel around to be more like, I guess, talking about investment, my experience, and things like that, and making a podcast. But anywho, that's all I wanted to talk about because I saw the interview about the crypto adoption, and I'm kind of happy that a lot of people actually start to get it. If you see in the comments, people realize it's a Ponzi scheme, right? I mean, a lot of people do, but still there's a lot of scammers out there, and that is actually the downside of cryptocurrency because it seems like, hey, it's just scammers. And of course, the more people that get into the scam, the more legitimate it seems, right? But in the end, what will happen if you don't sell? Because, if you're into gold and you're waiting for this, or silver, and you're waiting for this doomsday moment, and if you don't sell, you're really losing out what they're calling the crypto adoption, because the value, like I said before, the value is in selling the currency. It's not in saving in the currency. That was in the past. That was 12 years ago, okay? 12 freaking years ago. You're 12 years later, and you're 12 years older. Now, if you just jumped into the market and you don't really know what's happening, then know that saving in the currency was an idea that was thought of and talked about 12 freaking years ago. And they were talking about using it as a currency, and basically 12 years later, no one or barely anybody use it as a currency. They buy it to sell it. And to sell, that selling part is where the value really lie, right? And of course, back in the day, the governments didn't think about making cryptos. Well, nowadays they do. And the only thing that will be adopted is government crypto, whether you like it or not, right? I mean, I don't care where you are. And some people think, hey, they can't force you to do it. Sure they can. I mean, the only free world is the United States. And if they made you use paper, what makes you think they can't make you use cryptocurrency? I mean, even here in Canada, right? I think they're making a cryptocurrency, right? So the only cryptocurrency is going to be government cryptocurrency, which I'm totally fine with. I know that there's decentralized and stuff like that. Well, that's a pipe dream. That's a dream back in the caveman day. And if you're into cryptocurrency, you should be technologically advanced, and you should understand that.